Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sonia. Here on my channel we have healthy discussions about life, love, dating, and relationships while promoting self-love and healing. But first and foremost, if you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you are a new subscriber, thank you so much for joining the family. If you are passing through, please consider subscribing, and thank you so much for stopping by. If you are returning, welcome back family. It's so good to see you. Please like or thumbs up the video and leave a comment below. Now let's get into tonight's show. First up, we have Mark and Lindsey. In theory, Mark is really good for Lindsey and Lindsey is good for Mark. However, in reality, now is not the time. I've been saying this since my red flags video. I feel like Lindsey needs help. I feel like there's some concerns with her use of substance, and it comes out that she had 3 bottles of wine on the plane ride, or before they went to the plane. And I don't think we're talking about those small bottles either. I think she had like 3 full bottles of wine. And that concerns me. And I've been saying, I feel like, they put Lindsey with Mark because Lindsey is a nurse and they feel like she can help. But because of her own state, she is more work for Mark. And we see as the episode goes on that Mark is like, I need to pull back because there's just always something, She loves the fact that Mark is supportive and has her back and things like that. But she's kind of being selfish and not recognizing the position that she is putting Mark in. She puts Mark in a very awkward position every time she's in an argument or she's inappropriate or she's had too much to drink, and just some of the things that she says to him. Now, for Mark, I feel like you've seen these red flags and you've been talking about how she's a lot since the wedding and you should have held off on being intimate with her. So the scene where they're at their romantic dinner and Mark is telling her that he wants to pull back, I understand where her frustration came from. I really do, because it's like, wait a minute, we're moving in this direction like moments before we have this dinner, according to them on the after party. And then you turn around and say, no, I want to pull back. I don't think that was fair for Mark. I think he should have had the willpower to withhold and continue to assess the situation and assess if he wanted to move forward with her before he was intimate with her. So in that way, I feel like there's a problem, but I also feel like Lindsey needs to really take accountability for her actions. She needs to really do something about her coping skills. And she needs some help. And I hope that once they get back to Boston, that Lindsey will get the help that she needs. I really hope that the experts step in and get her some support, because her issue to me has been obvious since her and Dr. Viviana had their meeting at her house, where Dr. Viviana told her that they found someone for her. And the look on Dr. Viviana's face lets us know that she knew as well that this was going to be a concern as far as her drinking, and they still brought her on the show. And I really feel bad for Lindsey. I feel like this is unfortunate, and I feel like she needs to get some help. So that's all I have to say about that. I think like I've been saying, that she's a lot of work for Mark, and that's not fair to Mark. Mark needs more support. Also, I know I said this was it, but I got one more thing to say. It's interesting to me that she was able to assess that Mark, although Mark doesn't really want to acknowledge it, that Mark is a person he's a people pleaser, and he's a person that wants to care for people. Lindsey likes that for her, but she doesn't want Mark to be that way for others. Now, she's very observant, and she is right. He does have that tendency, but that should be even more reason for her to want to get it together so that she can be healthy in this marriage, if she's trying to stay married. I'm a firm believer that you have to be the best version of yourself and be willing to work on yourself and be willing to work on a marriage when you're in a marriage or in a relationship. Okay, I don't feel like you should put the burden on the other person to adjust to your poor habits or ways. That's just not how that works in my world. Okay, so I'm wishing them the best. I hope the experts step in and give her what she needs, or lead her into that direction to get the help that she needs, because that's a lot for Mark. And unfortunately, I don't see this couple making it unless she does that. But it may be to the point where she's turned Mark off, because she tends to call names and things like that once her behavior has been brought to the forefront. So, because there's an accountability issue. So that's it on Mark and Lindsey. So next up we have Chris and Alyssa. So Alyssa to me is like watching a teenager. It's like, I feel like she's a teenager who is not getting her way, and she's trying to get her way. For me, Chris, I feel like Chris, like I said in my last 2 videos, you just need to walk away. Once a person has told you that they don't want you and they've shown you that they don't want you, do not engage. Walk away. Remove yourself. At this point, Chris, you're doing it to yourself, and everybody's feeling bad for him. I'm gonna have to say I don't, in the sense that, why do you keep trying with her? She's already told you everything that you need to know. She's let you know she's not interested. She doesn't think you guys are compatible, and she feels like they made a mistake. She said those things. So with that information, it is time to move on. So I side-eye Chris, because it's like, why are you trying to make it seem like you're going to give your all if she gives you a little? That shows to me that you have low self-esteem, or that you're being extremely manipulative and you want to be seen in a certain light. Either way, it's not healthy. So for me, I just don't know. I wouldn't try to plan any activities. I wouldn't try to engage. I would talk to the producers. How can we move forward where I don't have to pay this penalty and I can enjoy my vacation, and then we can work it out from there, right? I know a lot of people don't like the fact that she doesn't find him attractive. That's her right. If she's not attracted to him, she's not attracted to him. Do I feel like you can try to get to know a person more? Yeah, but she doesn't want to. And again, that's her right. We can't tell someone that you have to try. You don't have to try. They should, but they don't have to, you know? And I just feel like at this point, Chris should just leave it alone. You know, don't push it anymore. I would tell the producers, don't push it anymore. I'm not going to subject myself to that. It's like, don't want someone's crumbs. 1% of someone wanting to deal with you is crumbs. And he keeps asking her if she's all the way out. It is obvious that she is not interested. She is out. She has checked out. Okay. So let that be that. Move on with your life, Chris. I really like Ola and Katina. I know a lot of people don't like Olajuwon. I like Olajuwon though. I think what it is about him is that he is who he is. And I can always respect that about a person. Let him be himself. Like, she doesn't try to change him, because you can't change a person. Only a person can change themselves. She lets him be who he is, but she does communicate when there is an issue, and it's in a respectful manner. She's not combative. She's not defensive. She's not harsh. She just lets him know, and you know, he takes it and he wants to know. I think in this world today, a lot of people don't give people room to be human, and I believe I've said this before. He is human. He has a diagnosis, and that has to be understood. And they are 2 people with the background that they have. We are a sum of our experiences in life, in childhood, in relationships, and everybody shows up differently, you know. I like the fact that he tries his best to romance her. I don't think that's the Isaac that tries to romance her. I don't think Isaac was romantic. I think Isaac gave a lot of attention, but I don't think he was really one to put in time and effort into a relationship with a woman. He's really trying that with Katina. That's just my observation. I actually hope that they make it, but it's going to be a bumpy ride for them. But I think both of them are willing to. Now, Olajuwon, I'm gonna need you to stop with this trying to test her, because you trying to test her may really push her away. They were at the gym, and he's like, you know, I was pushing her, and he was talking to her like that was one of his clients. Listen, me and my ex used to work out together, and I had to stop because he is an ex-athlete, and how they work out and how I work out is different. I believed in time under tension. He believed in high reps and making all this noise and dropping weights. Like, I'm not about that life. So we would argue in the gym because he would try to incorporate how he worked out into my life. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. So we would go to the gym together, go our separate ways, and then leave together versus working out together, unless we were doing floor ab exercises. Anyway, Elijah admitted that he was just trying to test her. And my thoughts on that is Elijah is afraid of his own demons. I think Elijah is afraid that his wife may fall for some of the things that he did for other women, and he's trying to figure out if she's strong enough. I've seen my uncles do this with women. They just want to make sure that you can handle yourself and people aren't going to use you and run over you when they're not around. It's actually a way of protecting their woman. It's not healthy, but it's a way they feel like they're protecting the person, or know that the person can protect themselves and take care of themselves when they're not present. But Elijah wants to stop doing that. Don't do that anymore. Just let her be in her element like she's allowing it for you, and go from there. You don't need to play all these games to figure out if she's going to be okay out in the world of wolves, right? So it's kind of like a father when his daughter is like dating. Now he's like super protective because he knows what he is capable of, and he thinks everyone else is the same. Everyone's not the same, Elijah Mom. Leave Katina alone, okay? But I really do think he likes her, and I really do think he's going to try. And I said before, he can move mountains. They just have to learn to work together. He has to learn to control all of that energy. Speaking of which, they were talking about how much he sweats and why they can't cuddle, and he's hot. If he has a really, really high metabolism, those kind of people tend to sweat a lot. If he's taking a lot of energy drinks or pre-workout or anything like that, fat burners, they will make you sweat too. I know for sure. So that may be a problem. He may have to calm down on some of his medicines or intake or whatever it is that he's taking that's getting him so hot. But it could also be natural if he has a really, really high metabolism. So we'll see. I don't know. I like them. I like that he really always wants to take care of her, and she's taking it in. And Katina is doing a really good job of guarding her heart. Although he's doing all these things, she's still taking it slow. She's not moving too fast with him on an intimate level. She is taking it all in and assessing the situation, and she is guarding her heart. Good job, Katina, because we don't want you to get hurt. And he seems to be accepting of it. He hasn't complained not one time. Had that been Gil, he would have been cussing and fussing. But no, he hasn't complained one time about them not having intimacy. Instead, he's actually said, I really just want to get to know her. I think that's pretty cool. So I like them two together. What do you guys' thoughts? Next up, I want to talk about Katina and Lindsey. Although they're not a couple, I just want to talk about the situation. I liked how Katina handled the situation. I know some people don't agree and they feel like she should stay out of it. But I am one to believe when there's a situation between couples, the men should talk with the men, the women should talk with the women. And especially since Lindsey was set on, as always, spinning this narrative to where she was the one that was being bothered, she was the one that was triggered, she was the victim in the situation. The problem with that, as it was said on an after party, and the point that Katina was trying to get across, is that when you put out a narrative that someone is trying to attack you, bully you, or has tried to hurt you, or is triggering you, especially male and female, especially black male, white female, it can become very dangerous for that male. And if he is trying to harm you, that's one thing. But if this is the case where you've done all of these things to this man and he reacted, and now you are triggered and so hurt and damaged behind it, and you're spinning this narrative that you're the victim, that is a problem. And that conversation does need to be had, because we're going to clear the air, because we don't need any misconceptions out there about the situation. Like, I'm going to hold you accountable because I need everybody to understand what really happened, And some people felt like Katina was doing too much. I felt like no, because that message could have been out there, and that could reflect on Olajuwon, her husband, poorly. Not to mention the fact that bullying and threatening and all the things that she was saying can land him in hot water. Plus, we can have this conversation woman to woman. As a woman, I'm going to tell you that I have concerns about the things that you are saying as far as my husband is concerned. Just like how Mark and Olajuwon had the conversation. Mark came down, Elijah spoke with him. Katina didn't say anything until, they asked her if she wanted an apology, and she's just like, I just need my space and we can keep it surface. I don't feel like she was overly aggressive or anything like that. She was putting Lindsey on notice that you're not going to spin a narrative that he did something to you that he didn't, and you're going to take accountability for your behavior, which I don't think Lindsey has been required to do. So Jasmin and Mike, I had so much hope for them during the casting special, but I don't know. I felt like because he took accountability, that was good, and that means they were going to move in the right direction. Mike's blockage is that he knows that he has these issues, but he has not sought the resources to be able to deal with them. He doesn't know how to go past the I have the plate in my hand. Now how do I eat the food type deals. Like he has to get out of his head, but he also just has to get some help. Because he is going to ruin the relationship if he continues to constantly think that everything is bad. I personally think in the moment where Mike was trying to say we're not where we think we are, he was really seeking validation. I think he really wanted to say, wanted Jasmina to say, I think we're doing good. But Jasmina, who's already on high alert because she has her past baggage with her own abandonment issues, and the family has told her that he always thinks the worst of things, and he's been thinking the worst of things, so he's confirming what the family has said, has just kind of put her on high alert, and they're not hearing each other as well as they could. They're not communicating as well as they could. And so I don't think she can see that he was really just saying, I want you to say that things are okay. He's talking to her like he talks in his head. He's like, this is a ring on my finger and I'm serious. And, he's giving her this pep talk. She was like, I don't know what the problem I don't know what the problem is. So for me, I understand that one of the defense mechanisms, if you've experienced a lot of loss, is to either push people away or to always feel like things aren't going to go well because things haven't gone well. One thing that is important that therapy will help him with is him knowing that what happened in the past is not what's happening today. And so you have to look at every situation as an individual situation. Yes, learn your lessons in life, but you also have to say, is this what's happening right now? Am I being abused right now, neglected right now? Are they leaving me right now? Whatever the fear is it happening right now? Mike is a captive to his fear and anxiety. And if he doesn't deal with that, he's never going to be able to have a healthy relationship. As far as I'm concerned, like Jasmina has been really trying. She tries to keep the conversation going. She tries to laugh and lighten the mood. She tries to just enjoy herself. But he is really, really in his head. And then it triggers her fears. She's had emotionally and apparently physically unavailable men. So his behavior is triggering for her. And what the family said makes it worse. So for me, I would say Mike needs to learn how to take it to the next level. Get out of his head. Get the resources he needs to understand that things are not happening like you think. Everything isn't the end of the world. It's okay. How to live in the moment. Enjoy the moment. Relax a little bit. Just have a good conversation, not be doom and gloom. He has to learn to do those things. He has to relax. Otherwise, he's going to have a long road to go. I also realized, when they were having a conversation about the apology, how childlike Mike really is. And one thing you have to remember is that whenever a traumatic experience happens to you, usually emotionally that person stays in that place. And you can see him just like, I just want you to apologize. He wants to do the right thing. He wants to have this relationship. He just doesn't know how. He just needs resources. He just needs some help. And that's up to him to get the help, As far as the apology goes, I agree with Jasmina in this moment. Now, I am not a fan of the if you feel that way apology, or I'm sorry if I made you feel that way. But in this moment, I agree with her. She said she didn't cut him off, and she knew she didn't cut him off. And she's like, well, I didn't cut you off. I didn't cut you off, but I'm sorry if you feel like I did. But I know that I didn't. And we saw the playback. And that's what happened. She didn't cut him off. There was a pause. He looked at her and she said what she said, but she didn't agree with him. And I think he's used to people just agreeing with him. This is a lesson to the families. I know you want to protect your loved ones, and I know because they've been through what they've been through, you don't want to seem harsh, and you want to let them land softly. But you also have to be mindful that they're going out into the world. They're going to have relationships and interactions with other people, and they need to be able to stand up for themselves. And everybody isn't going to care about their past and what happened to them, or, them landing softly. Some people, the world is harsh. The world is cruel. I say this all the time. The best thing my mother ever did was tell me no. Her telling me no and letting me know that I had to work for things and I just couldn't get things because I wanted them, or things were not going to always go my way, or that I may be disappointed sometimes. Let me know to expect that these things may happen in life, but also to understand that I can get over it. I can move past it. I'll be okay. I can find another way. I can keep asking until I get what I want. Timing may be wrong. Like, there were so many lessons out of her telling me no and not just letting me do whatever it is that I want to do. So, I heard that a lot. Now, my grandmother raised me for a majority of my life. She was a little different. She would kind of go with whatever. But my mother was not having that. And I'm so happy that she installed that in me. So now, if I get rejected, I'm not torn down by rejection. Rejection happens. No happens. Okay, I got to figure out another way. It helps with my critical thinking skills. And, for you guys who love your family member and you don't want them to hurt, you have to understand you still have to prepare them for the world. And I see Mike sitting there as a child who's not used to anyone saying no or standing their ground or having their own thoughts. He's used to people doing things that make him feel comfortable and make him feel okay, but it isn't realistic, if that makes sense. So Mike, get some help. I want both of them to get some help, actually. But I really hope Mike asks the experts to help him with learning how to get out of his head and learning how to live in the moment instead of waiting and wanting the worst, because you speak things into existence. Next up, we have Noy and Steven. This is what I want to say for Noy and Steven. I hope that they can come to a compromise. Steven was talking about how basically he was trying to let Noy know, we're going to go camping. I think he was trying to say, we're going to go camping. Anyway, Steven likes to camp, and he was, expressing how he likes to go camping. He likes the great outdoors. He wants to live off the land type deal when he goes on these camping trips. Noy's like, yeah, no, I don't like that. This is what I have to say. So I hope that they can compromise and meet somewhere in the middle. And if Steve needs to go on his own camping trips where he does his own thing fully, then do that. But, maybe just make it an environment where she can be comfortable, and maybe later she'll want to experience camping to the level that he likes to, I think that there's room to compromise there. Also, there was a segment where Noy basically told Steve that she loves him. Noy, again, to me, has some maturing and growing up to do. I think she romanticizes relationships and love too. I don't think she loves Steven. I think she's just enjoying the moment. But Steven stood firm and was like, well, thank you, but I'm not going to tell you right now. It's been 3 days. Like, I don't even know. And that's fair. And she has to receive that. But she kind of was like, well, I have strong feelings for you too. I'm like, Noy, it's okay. For Noy and Steven, I don't know if I believe 100% that they're going to be together. I think the differences are going to keep unfolding with those two, and then they're still getting back to reality and talking about the finances of things. And I think, that's going to be an issue. As I've stated in other videos, Steven may need to communicate to reassure Noy a little bit more than he wants to, and they maybe become a problem. But I think if they compromise and they communicate, they may be okay. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about those two because Steven is almost 40 and Noy is in her early 30s, and I just kind of think they may be at two different stages, and I'm not sure that Steven has the patience for all of Noy's shenanigans. Plus, Noy is very, very emotional, and she really wears her heart on her sleeve, and she has this fantasy about love and relationships, and that may be something she's gonna have to let go of and deal with the reality of what's happening. But again, I appreciate his patience with her. I appreciate that they can have great, honest, open, down to earth, real conversations. And I hope that continues. Communication is key. So I don't know. We'll see with those two. Let me know your thoughts, okay? So that's it for tonight's commentary on Married at First Sight. What are your thoughts? This should be an interesting season. Please like, share, and comment below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please turn on your notification bell. And I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And please do not forget to love yourself for who you are. Take care. Bye-bye.